You probably clicked on this video because you can't scale your Google Ads beyond whatever point you're at right now. And what I want to do today is walk you through exactly what you need to do to make sure that you can scale your Google Ads, you don't get stuck at a specific budget level, and you can scale them profitably. So when you invest more money, you don't end up just tanking your ROAS and losing everything that goes in beyond a certain level of budget. We've scaled many accounts from zero all the way up to $100,000 plus per month in ad spend profitably, and they continue to run at that rate, and they continue to scale even further as time goes on, because when you have the right structures and fundamentals in place, it gives you so much more opportunity to expand to new markets, new people, and find more new customers. So this is how you scale if you're stuck right now. Now, before you even want to scale, you need to obviously be profitable on Google. I don't recommend throwing more money at Google campaigns if you're not already profitable, because you're probably just going to start losing more and more money. So if you want to achieve profitability, there's a few things that you want to focus on. If you're not already profitable on Google, it's likely due to one of the following reasons. Your pricing or offer economics, so you're basically uncompetitive in the market compared to other people. A lack of market demand in general. You may just find that there's not many people in your market interested in buying your product, or having problems related to your product, or just searching for your product or your solution. Or a lack of differentiation and unique service propositions, unique selling propositions. You need to make sure that you have a differentiated product as well. Now, a lot of people think that they have no market demand for their product, but the reality in most cases is they just aren't effectively capturing the market demand. The demand exists, but they just aren't doing the right things to bring the right people in, and they think they're targeting the right stuff, but they really aren't. So I recently made another video on my Instagram where I walked you through the very important features of getting a unique product before scaling. Now, I also walked this through in a YouTube video of mine related to high ticket products. But basically, this is related to the last point here, differentiation USPs. This is the easiest one where you can actually pull a lever to make a difference right now, tomorrow in your account. Before even starting on Google, please try to make sure that your product is unique in some capacity to give yourself the best chance. Now, if you want a full breakdown of this in a bit more detail, please feel free to watch my most recent video on scaling high ticket products. I walk through this in more detail, but I'll break it down very quickly for you right now, just so you have an idea. When you are running ads in general, but particularly Google Ads, you want to have some level of differentiation that makes you clearly the best option in the market. Now, if you have a completely unique product, like Ray-Ban Meta glasses, for example, there's not really any other video recording glasses on the market that do anywhere near as good of a job. And if you search for Meta glasses, you won't find any competitors advertising on that term, because they know that they can't beat Meta on a search like that, because they just don't have a good enough product. So really, there's only one product in this market that actually sells at a high rate, and it is the Ray-Ban Meta glasses. So they essentially have a monopoly on this market, because they're the only thing that really sells when it comes to video recording glasses that actually are high quality. And they get really good returns on this because they have a completely new product. But the difficulty is you have to basically invent a product in order to achieve this. Now, the best thing that I recommend doing is creating a similar product, but with some unique features. This example here is an orthopedic dog bed. You can see that the orthopedic nature of the dog bed, now it's a genuine, let's imagine this orthopedic nature is from a genuine innovation in the product. So maybe some special foam, some special cover, something like that. It makes it actually genuinely beneficial for older dogs, disabled dogs, wherever it might be. It allows you to charge a lot more, because people in this market are willing to charge more because they have a specific problem that you're solving now, and you are offering them a better solution than just a regular dog bed. It's harder to innovate in this way, but it is a lot easier than just inventing a new product. It's about finding a product and adding onto it, making it slightly better, and being able to charge 2, 3, 4, 5x the price just by adding in a feature that only costs maybe 10% more to produce. And then finally, you also have the option to have the exact same product as everyone else, just with unique marketing, right? Emphasizing specific features. In this case, this sauna is emphasizing the low EMF feature of the sauna. This may be one thing that other saunas aren't advertising, they aren't promoting, they aren't emphasizing. As a result, it may get more purchases, more viewers, especially if the customers are interested in low EMF saunas. But these are 3 examples of differentiation. Try to make your product differentiated in some way. If you aren't differentiated in some way, Google Ads is going to be a lot more difficult for you, because you're going to be up against a huge number of competitors, and a lot of them probably going to have better products than you and better offers and better pricing, and they'll just beat you out in the market because they have better back-end logistics. By the way, if you want me to implement my entire 8-figure Google Ads system for your e-commerce brand, SaaS company, service-based business, whatever you are, as long as you run Google Ads, just click the first link below to book a call with my team. Anyway, make sure you have something unique. When you have something unique and you have a genuinely great product that's running profitably on Google Ads, once again, make sure you're profitable before you scale. Once you are profitable on Google Ads, there are a few ways that you can scale. First of all, you can scale vertically by just scaling budgets. Very, very simple, right? Increase budgets on your highest performing campaigns. Easiest way to start. If you're getting campaigns that are running at a much higher return on ad spend than other campaigns, scale them. However, if they're branded campaigns, be careful. You don't want to lean too heavily into branded traffic. You need to make sure that you have effective brand and non-brand segregation. If you just have a single campaign that's pulling in branded and non-branded traffic and you scale it, Google's probably just going to start spending more money on branded traffic and just inflating your cost per click, and you probably aren't going to get a good return from it. But if you make sure that you do have new customer acquisition focused campaigns, then you can scale into those and give them more money. If you have a new customer acquisition campaign that's running at a 6x ROAS and your break-evens are 3, load that thing up with money. Put it in as much as you potentially can because it's going to make you a really good return. And also make sure to scale into your highest potential opportunities. So you'll have some best products. You'll have some of your top performers that make a way better return than others, way more sales volume, just better products in general within your catalog. Invest in these products preferentially. I see so many brands that just have like a catch-all campaign with every single product in their account. They throw more money into the catch-all campaign and the campaign starts spending on their low-performing products. So it's basically just a waste of money because you could be spending on your highest performers, your best performers, the ones that are bringing you all the revenue, but Google's allocating that money instead to your low performers. Don't want to do that. Make sure that you're effectively segregating your high performers and preferentially allocating the budget to them. Same goes for a service-based business. Make sure that you have the allocation of your funds towards your best services. If you're a landscaping company and you do both mowing and hedge trimming has a higher return, you need to be allocating that money into hedge trimming, not into mowing. Make sure you, once again, separate out your services so you can effectively allocate more funds to your highest performing services. Like I said here, preferentially load more money into your most profitable avenues. All right. Once you have scaled your budgets and you're starting to cap out on budget scaling, you should also look at scaling your geos, so your geographical targeting regions, right? Obviously, this is much harder for a service-based business because if you operate in person, it's harder to expand to other regions. However, if you're running an e-commerce brand, or even better, a software, then you can very easily scale to other regions in a lot of cases, given that your logistics allow for it. Identify alternate potential geographical locations to start advertising in, so obviously based on your logistical constraints, but if there's any way that you can expand to, I would highly recommend looking into it because it's a really good option in a lot of cases to just replicate exactly what you've got in one market and paste it into another market essentially. Preferentially deploy into markets with the greatest potential. So you may have other platforms running. You may be running on Meta, you may have organic traffic, you may have email traffic, whatever it may be. And if some of those platforms are already advertising in other countries, go and get that data through Google Analytics, through Shopify backend, whatever it may be, and figure out what other countries work well for you on those other platforms. Then the ones that have the highest potential, deploy some budget into them on Google, because then if they're working on other platforms, if they're working on other paid media channels especially, there's a very good chance that they'll also work on Google to a similar extent as they are on other platforms. If you don't have data on what regions are performing for you outside of your existing regions, try and target the ones that are most similar to your current market. So for example, if you're advertising in the US, but nowhere else, you may want to expand to Australia, Canada, UK, because they're all very similar markets. Obviously they have their own differences, but similar generally. Don't expand to China immediately, right? Because obviously very different market, very different buyers, and very different economics. Also, look at competitor presence. If you don't have any idea what markets are similar to your current one, go and look at your competitors and find out where your competitors are advertising. If your competitors are advertising in another country that you're not, usually indicates that it probably performs well. But in that same vein, if you find that your competitors are only advertising in your current country that you are targeting, or your current region that you're targeting, probably indicates that you could get some really good market share by moving into another region where there are fewer competitors. So it works both ways. If you can dominate a market quickly that no one has expanded into yet, it can be very profitable. But also, if you see competitors in that market, it means that it's proven and you know it will work. All right, campaign types next up. So a lot of brands I see are just running on search and shopping. They never get beyond search and shopping because it's quite difficult to expand beyond search and shopping, and sometimes PMAX, because it requires a different kind of level of expertise and a different set of skills. So if you're currently using just search and shopping, try and expand into first PMAX. PMAX is really easy to expand into when you have the right controls. Don't let it bid just solely on your branded traffic and your remarketing traffic. Apply some controls to it to make sure it prospects for new customers. And then also demand gen. Demand gen's a great one if you get it right. it is a lot harder to get profitable results on demand gen, but when you do, it can scale really, really heavily. If you can get a profitable acquisition on demand gen, the sky is basically your limit with scaling, because there are so many people out there on YouTube at the top of the funnel and on display network everywhere that may not know about your product. And if you can effectively educate them, get them in your funnel and convert them profitably, you can scale so much further on Google. I've seen it in practice on many accounts. Additional campaign types can unlock more placements and thus more touch points for customers. So you just have more areas in which you can approach customers, show them your ad, and try to get them to convert. Remarketing opportunity can be massive, especially in PMAX, along with top of funnel expansion, like I already mentioned, can be really, really big if you crack demand gen. Now, demand gen's hard to do, PMAX not as hard to do. Just make sure on both of them, make sure that you are doing them the right way and you're not wasting money, because I've seen many people waste money in both of these campaign types. All right. Horizontal scale through funnel stages. Now, this is the hardest to pull off, I'd say, and it does link into the demand gen aspect there, but it has immense potential for scale. Like I said, if you can get to the top of the funnel and educate people, bring them into your funnel, it can be very profitable. Like I said here, if you're targeting only bottom of funnel traffic, move in a middle of funnel and then top of funnel. So you'd top of funnel search to target problem aware but solution unaware audiences. So people who know that they have a problem, but they don't know what the solution is. An example here, right? People who have back pain, but they don't know why. They may Google, why do I have back pain in the morning? And then they get an ad for a mattress that helps them solve back pain. And they go, oh, great, maybe I need a new mattress. And then if you do a really good job on your landing page of telling them that your mattress is great and it's going to fix their back pain, they may just buy it. So use your top of funnel search to target problem-aware, solution-unaware audiences. Use demand gen to reach problem-aware or completely unaware audiences. Like I said, the biggest number of people are in your top of funnel, right? There's a very small segment of people who already know about your brand. There's a slightly larger segment of people who know about the products that you sell, but not necessarily your brand. And there's a very large segment of people that don't know about your products and don't know about your brand. And if you can effectively get into that market, educate these people profitably and bring them into your funnel, into your market, into the middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, and then sell them, you can make a huge amount of money and you can scale really, really big. One tip for this one is deploying tailored landing pages to increase efficiency. So an example like this landing page that I broke down briefly is that if you have an educational or advertorial style landing page, when someone searches for a problem and then you lead them to your landing page and educate them as to how your product solved this problem and make it very clear that your product is the best possible solution for this problem, there's a very high chance that you can convert them and get some good money out of it. And once again, that is the biggest chunk of the market that if you can profitably convert, you'll make a lot of cash. All right, so that's exactly how I recommend scaling on Google Ads. If you're stuck at a certain budget level, you just can't seem to crack through, try all these things. They probably will help you. And if you're not yet profitable, give differentiation a try. And once you are profitable on Google, use these methods to scale. That's all for me today. I hope you guys found this helpful. If you want some help scaling Google Ads account, you don't have time to deploy all these different scaling methods and figure out how to do them properly, then feel free to book a call with me down below. Be more than happy to walk you through, try and set them up for you and get you scaling further than you already are on Google.